Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And I wanted to go over this interview that I saw live, actually, the other day between Simon Jordan, the guy with the guy with the eyeglasses and the gray suit and black turtleneck. People still wear those, huh? Well, this is England. And the former heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder. This was on a show, on a channel called Talk Sport. It's a London-based 24-hour sports station. I usually watch this because they cover football a lot, soccer in this country, the European leagues. Simon Jordan, if you don't know, was not a player. He tried to play football on the professional level, wasn't good. He did make a lot of money in the telecom industry, and he bought a team, his boyhood team called Crystal Palace, and he kind of ran that team into the ground. He didn't know what he was doing. I think he hired and fired about 9 managers while he was there, and he lost so much money that he had to sell the team. The team went into administration, but he found his new calling in radio. And Simon Jordan comes off as kind of smug, kind of like he's talking down to you. I don't want to say he's not bad at his knowledge of the game of football. He knows economics and he knows television and radio broadcasting coverage pretty darn well. He's very, very versed in that. He tries to get into boxing. He wants to get into boxing as well, and that's where he's kind of But the only guy I can really think of that you can equate him to is Skip Bayless, because he's very provocative. He comes at you and he asks the stinging questions, and then he'll come back with the snippy comment and all this other stuff. Skip Bayless, to me, is not provocative. He's a moron. This guy is more provocative, but with this. I think it's that British accent. I think that accent pisses people off, and they come off as rude and snotty and entitled. And the British are. I mean, they shouldn't be. They're pretty much an irrelevant country, but in terms of the world stage, they just don't know it or refuse to acknowledge it. But here in this interview, Deontay Wilder loses his mind. Wilder is promoting a fight April 4th against some guy named Chisora. Boxing has taken such a downturn in popularity because of UFC and MMA and the cage fighting and all this other shit. And because boxing has got this reputation of being corrupt, got this reputation of not having the big fights happen at the right time. Floyd Mayweather is the epitome of that. Cherry picking guys after their prime. But Wilder he's coming out with a documentary. And this documentary, he claims, will prove that his losses to Tyson Fury, who was a British boxer, and let me tell you, these guys all stunk. These guys were not great fighters. I grew up in a time when there was the middleweight division was unbelievable. Duran, Leonard, Hagler, who was better than all of them, and of course Tommy Hitman Hearns. Those were real boxers, not fighters. They were boxers. They were wonderful to watch. And of course, from Brownsville, New York, Mike Tyson, who just dominated the heavyweight division like a buzzsaw. These guys don't even come close to that ability. That scientific ability, that incredible charisma and just a star power that those other people brought. These guys don't do that. And so I think sometimes they have to put up antics like this to generate buzz for their fights, because boxing and baseball are two sports that are struggling to get eyeballs. And here, Deontay Wilder was asked a question about Tyson Fury, who he claims cheated in the previous 2 fights that Wilder and Fury had. Now, Well, Wilder, of course, lost those 2 fights. And he claims that Fury unpacked his gloves, meaning he took the required stuffing out of his gloves, which makes the punches generate a lot more power, a lot more damage. He also claims that the water in his corner was spiked. Now, he fired a guy from the Bronx named Mark Breland, who is one of the great professional boxers of all time, tremendous Golden Glove fighter. Mark Breland was his trainer. Mark Breland threw in the towel in the last fight with Fury, and he fired him immediately, and he's blaming him also for betraying him and maybe even possibly, sabotaging his career. And he goes crazy in this interview, and for no reason. I mean, if you think Tyson Fury robbed you in some way or cheated you in some way, have an investigation between the boxing boards. Now, again, the alphabet soup that boxing has turned into over the last 40 years is shameful, and he probably won't get anywhere. And there's probably nothing to it. He's just a guy he's sore that he lost these fights. He's sore that he got knocked out in one of them, or both of them, I think. He's sore that his career has taken a downturn and that people think he's a joke and he's over. And this is the result. The result is here, and it could also be a little bit of mental illness, but the result is here is this emotional, feminine explosion on live television. And we're going to play you the clip right here.
I've always wanted to have a conversation with you because you've made observations about Fury. I have my own views on Fury, and you've called him a cheat. And it leads me
the biggest in boxing.
Yeah, but it leads me to conclude.
Biggest in boxing. If somebody practicing taking their stuff out of their gloves in training, what you think they're gonna do in the fight?
Yeah, but
that's all I got to say about that.
I want to put something to you about you, right? And Fury just happens to be the hook for it.
That's all I got to say about
you. You talked about being cheated in that fight. You talked about water being spiked. You talked about your Game of Thrones outfit being too heavy for you.
I didn't say that.
You said it was too heavy for you.
I didn't say that.
Okay, well, I might be wrong on that one. You talked about the long.
Y'all took a journalist that said something because y'all, everybody wanted to come in. Oh, wow,
you talked about a long count, right? And then you talked about the trainers, Mark Breland not being good enough.
No, I ain't say he wasn't good enough.
So what I'm asking you in all of this is, it sounds to me, given the character that you are, that's like a little bit flaky. You lost those fights, and those fights were lost. And you saying that someone like Fury cheated you in those fights, I think is kind of disappointing to me.
You can say what you want. I know the truth. I have the facts.
Okay.
Understand that. I got the facts of it.
No, fair enough.
I got the proof. I got the people to tell it.
And we'll look forward to seeing that. We'll look forward to seeing that.
Understand that. What I say in boxing, I mean, and it's the truth. I risk my life for you's entertainment to see.
No, absolutely.
So I ain't never lied about nothing in this business. But you can believe why is it so hard to believe a black man than a white man? Understand me? Why is it so hard to believe a black man than a white man?
Why you don't believe it?
Why is it?
Let me answer the question.
Yeah, go on.
So we can go there.
This guy, of course, the guy in the picture here is the guy he's going to be fighting. I don't know who he is. His name is Chisora. He's probably another tomato can. But you see that the race card has reared its ugly head again. No one is saying that they don't believe him. They're just saying that they want to see proof and evidence of it, which this documentary is supposed to produce. But why bring up, why don't you believe a black man? Why don't you? It's about race. It's about this, but that has nothing to do with it. You're making these claims, unsubstantiated so far, about a fighter that you lost to twice. What difference does it make what your race is or what color your skin is? And this is the out that a lot of black people have. Anytime things go wrong, or anytime they get backed into a corner, or they have to prove their credibility, it's always race, 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 race. And this is where this whole black fatigue comes in, because people are so sick of hearing this. Now, this guy over here, Chisora, is egging Wilder on and kind of, getting him revved up here, which is, I mean, I don't know if that's smart or not, but let's keep going.
First and foremost, it's got nothing to do with color.
No, this whole country got some. This whole world got something to do with race. You think you pan out? You think you have a? You think you done had a great life? You think your life has been like mine?
Listen,
you got white privilege, brother.
Oh, don't start.
I ain't never had that.
Don't start
I'm a black man with dark skin. Ain't nothing ever been given to me. I done had to kick in every opportunity that I've had.
Look, Derek likes this.
That's what it is.
Derek likes
y'all don't understand. Maybe y'all don't talk about this shit in this country.
Yes, we do, mate.
But when you get me in here, I speak the peace. I speak the truth.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you.
Yeah, go on. Go on.
If this is about color,
y'all got the wrong.
Yeah, go on.
If he's about color,
y'all understand that.
How is Derek Chisora then, out of curiosity, given he's a black man? A national treasure in this country, then it's not about color. You called somebody a cheat. I asked you a question.
Don't like the question. You have a whole lot of black people around
the question. You like the question. You like the question. All right, I moved on. I moved on.
I want to pull it back in. Derek, let me ask you a question. I want to ask you a question about Fight Week. Deontay, let me just get into Derek about Fight Week. Both of you known to be dynamic in Fight Week. We just seen a little taster of that right now.
Come on, man. Y'all can't tell, man.
So the bronze bomber, there he is.
Yeah, so
come on, man.
Come on. We can have a disagreement, can't we?
As a little boy and I bet your view as a little boy is totally different than my view as a little boy. Most black people, why we so into it with each other, because we have PTSD. We done been through so much. So much.
You wanted to move on, right?
Come on. It's hard to move on when you don't know the truth. And that's when I come in and try to give you a vision, a little insight of what we go through as black people, man.
I got it.
You don't get it.
Okay.
None of y'all get it.
Where do you want me to go?
Y'all don't get it.
You see how emotional he's turning into a woman here, that the opponent next to him has to give him a box of tissues. This is embarrassing if you're a man. How in God's name do you lose absolute full control, full emotional control of yourself on TV? He is losing his mind here, all over a question, and a legitimate question at that. You're accusing somebody of cheating. You're accusing your trainer of all these things. You're accusing your corner of spiking your water. You have to, if you're going to make these accusations, you have to back them up. And supposedly this documentary will do it, but it's going to be one-sided, of course. But why lose your mind like this? It only hurts your credibility. It only makes people think that you're a sore loser or you're mentally ill. Bottom line, guy took a lot of shots to the head. Who knows if he should be fighting anymore? This guy looks completely unstable, unhinged to the max.
And that's the problem. You think you get what you don't understand.
Okay.
Why is it so hard? Y'all, man, let me I'm gonna get up out this bitch.
This is a little chaser of what we're gonna get. Both of you guys are big characters. It's gonna be explosive, right? I mean, I don't even have to ask this guy because I've just got a little taster of that. But come on,
man.
Both of you guys are big in the fight week. Let's pull it back into the fight. Let's talk about the fight.
It's hard to put it back. I'm from the South. You understand?
Come on, let's pull it back into the fight.
It's hard when y'all don't understand.
I
get it. Another situation. I said I didn't want to talk about the situation. Now you got me riled up.
Fair enough.
Wilder's back. I feel shit. You understand me? You don't mean that, man.
Okay, stop
let me get the out of here, bro. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Talking about my peoples and all that shit. It's hard to believe a black man than a white man. The cheated. Telling him to sue me so I can show the facts early. Because when the documentary and everything, the story come out, I'm gonna show everything.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna get all the people that know and all the people that's in the inside. He got people that the inside of him. What? I don't about that.
I'm not a Fury.
I don't about it. I said we didn't want to bring him up in the first place. It ain't got shit to do with him.
Fair enough.
The you talking about?
Yeah, man. You, man. I'm out too.
What happened there wasn't right.
He told you don't bring it up, but you
come on. It's on the schedule. I had to ask the question. What about Fury? Everyone else can ask him. Rick Reno asks him. Why can't I ask him?
And there you have it. What a oh man, I tell you, some of these athletes, some of these guys are just crazy. And you have to ask yourself, Is this how men should be behaving? Is this who little boys should be looking up to? Absolutely not. That's not a man there. You saw a woman there. This guy probably, dollars to donuts, was raised by a single mother. She taught him how to avoid accountability and responsibility, because that's what women do. And he totally made a buffoon of himself. Now, is he trying to sell tickets for this fight? Who knows? I mean, who cares? No one's going to be watching this. I mean, we don't even know who this guy is, his opponent. Who the fuck is that guy? I just like how in the English media, they allow shit and bullshit, those words to go through, but they were bleeping out fuck. It's like, what sense does that make? But I'm not looking forward to this fight. I won't watch it. Of course, I miss most of these things now. I used to be a huge boxing fan, but now boxing is just a joke now. But I am going to be interested to see this documentary. There have been allegations that Fury has unpacked his gloves. Some allegations that he even hardens his tape. There are some allegations that these fights were kind of on the shady side. Boxing's been notorious for that forever. But you don't conduct yourself in this manner, because it only kills your credibility. And now this fight that's coming up in April doesn't look like much more than a clown show. The guy he's fighting looks like he's, 250 pounds of blubber. You can't, as a man, lose control of your emotions. You must always stoically defend your position in a masculine frame, always. And Wilder did not do that. He's incapable of doing that because he's a woman. He has a woman's hell within him. He was never raised, you could tell he was never raised by a man, because he takes no accountability or responsibility for anything he said or any of the actions. And that's where his credibility takes a shot. That's where his accountability and responsibility as a man go to zero, because he is behaving just like a woman. You ever get into an argument with a woman, she'll bring up 15 other different things that have nothing to do with this conversation. This guy brought up race and his background, and he's from the South, and blah, 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 blah. No one gives a fuck. No one cares about your background or what you went through. They care about two things: why you lost that fight, and what evidence do you have that those fights were in some way tampered. And he produced none of those things in this interview. And Deontay needs to do better. He won't. He won't, of course. Because I do believe that there's a little bit of mental illness in there. He probably is a recreational user of the funny stuff. And his career, I mean, he's lost, 4 of his last 7 fights or 6 fights. So he's definitely on the down. He's 40 years old. He's definitely on the downturn of his career. And he's not the charismatic figure that will, like a Mike Tyson or any of these other great fighters of the past, who can get into media and get into commercials and stuff like that. He's not going to do that. He doesn't have the appeal. Boxing doesn't have that appeal anymore. It's over. You're going to get these second-rate guys who would 40 years ago, 30 years ago, would have had no shot of having a title shot. Forget about the fact of being world champion. Mike Tyson, what Mike Tyson would have done to these guys is laughable. They wouldn't have gone around with him. But that's the state of boxing today. It's a sad state. It's a bad state. And if this is the best that boxing can do right now, then, I mean, you might as well watch, jiu-jitsu guys, wrestling on the ground and hugging each other, wrapping their legs around each other's waists. God, that's hard to watch too. And there's my 2 cents. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Remember, my friend, Satan is always busy. Be a man and have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And remember, Deontay, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.